welcome everyone to DePaul University's annual Gathering of Remembrance. Each year, this is a time when we intentionally pause to take a moment together as a diverse interfaith community to remember our beloved family members, friends, and colleagues who have passed away over the last year. In Chicago, November is a season when the darkness and cold begin to set in right before the holidays. It's a tough time for all those in our community who have experienced significant loss. This year with the COVID pandemic, our hearts and minds also turn to all those affected by this horrible illness. As a community of people who love and care for one another, we're blessed to be able to stand together with one another, shoulder to shoulder, or virtually this year, computer screen to computer screen, with all those in our community who have experienced the difficult reality of losing a loved one. In doing so, we're reminded again that each of our colleagues, faculty, staff, and students who work and study with us at DePaul are whole people with whole lives. The time and energy they invest with us at DePaul is just a fraction of the larger whole. Classes and work don't slow down for them, even as they're trying to navigate the deep grief involved with loss, or the big life transition of having a significant absence in the midst of their family and relational life. With compassion and love, let us turn our minds and hearts towards them in prayer.
We come together to seek meaning beyond our limited selves. We come together to seek a spirit that binds together the scattered threads of our humanity, a thread that binds us together in sympathy, in understanding, in love. A thread that weaves the past, present, and future together and unites the fragments of our existence into a meaningful whole. Since we have felt the sense of death, since we have borne its dread, life has grown more dear. Since we have felt the sense of death, the gift of life is more a jewel, and the thread that binds us together is much more precious. We gather now to honor the memories of departed friends, loved ones, and coworkers, and to recognize the ongoing thread of life that carries us into the future. May our hearts and minds and spirits be filled with gratitude for all those who continue to give deep meaning to our lives. In the spirit of love, may our Creator's presence grace us in this time.
In this holy silence, speak to our hearts. Listen to our prayer, to the longing of
El Señor es mi pastor, nada me falta. En verdes praderas me hace recostar. Me conduce hacia fuentes tranquilas y repara mis fuerzas. El Señor hace siempre honor de su nombre. Aunque pase por cañadas oscuras, nada temo, porque tú vas conmigo, tu vara y tu cayado me sostienen. Has preparado un banquete delante de mis enemigos. Me has ungido con aceite nuevo y has llenado mi copa hasta rebosar. Tu bondad y tu amor me sostienen y habitaré en tu casa, Señor, todos los días de mi vida.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. She makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. They restore my soul. They lead me in the paths of righteousness for their name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Your rod and staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely, goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen.
At the rising of the sun and its going down, we remember them. At the blowing of the wind and the chill of the winter, we remember them. At the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. At the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of the summer, we remember them. At the rustling of the leaves and the beauty of autumn, we remember them. At the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. As long as we live, they too will live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joy that we crave to share, we remember them. When we have decisions that are difficult to face, we remember them. When we have achievements that are based on theirs, we remember them. As long as we live, they too will live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them.
Quietly, peacefully, may they rest in you. Quietly, peacefully, bring them home to you.
Carol Seitz,
Melissa Beck Boratin,
Marcy Schmidt,
Jean Schmidt,
David Olson,
all those lost to COVID-19 from our community.
John Gollenva,
Brent Norton,
Alice Guzman,
Robert F. Knight,
Rafael Darza,
Jerome P. Lang,
Leonarda Damiao Tariman,
Cormac Burke,
John Patrick O'Brien,
Herbert Umeda,
Margaret Teresa Parker,
Stephen Halaska.
Quietly, peacefully,
Freddie Ricky Subia,
Rubia Castro,
Thomas Mert,
Catherine Hamilton Spalding,
Guadalupe Torres de Torres,
Anita Torres de Medina,
Joe M. Aldaco,
Arturo Aldaco,
Alejandro Guerrero,
Sister Kathleen Appler,
Dallas James Duell,
Louise Marie Cortaletti Cafaso,
Alex Deviance,
Charlotte F. Rice,
Elo McBurney,
Rosa Romero,
Jean Cutina,
Father Stafford Poole,
Quietly, peacefully, may they rest in you. Quietly, peacefully, bring them home to you.
Theodore Joseph Sumas,
Michael Edward Bouchon,
Kathy May,
Nancy Prestage,
Jim Coys,
Mi Tam Lau,
Lorraine Traska,
Noah Andre Howard Wilson,
Esther Danin Ongbueko,
Bonifacio Sanchez Danon,
Eileen Staunton Nee Rocks,
Harry Pagliaro,
Carol Goodman Jackson,
Tina Garrett,
Jeremy Molderig,
Josephine Norzer,
Caroline Monshine,
Kara Everett,
Luke Lenti,
Douglas Carradine,
Andrew DeBauer,
Joseph Peter Rampolla,
Mary Beth DeMau,
Father Lyle Schulte,
Quietly, peacefully, may they rest in you. Quietly, peacefully, bring them home to you.
Claude Good,
Gerald Landers,
Andre Bandes Siegel,
Kay Bieneman,
Father Tom Grace,
Joanne Moretti,
Dawn McKessie,
Anne Catalane,
Teresa Campos Salas,
Irene Tavares Phillips,
Floyd Dill,
Enrique Pabellon,
James Wilkins,
Kathleen Daly,
Ralph Bodwin,
Esther Mora Torres,
Dawn Pronovost,
Edward Young,
Anne Sellinger,
Quietly, peacefully, may they rest in you. Quietly, peacefully,
Michael McCarthy,
Eugene Kutina,
Jeanette Ingrassi,
Cora Rogers,
Dorothy Robinson,
John Farwick,
Morton Stillman,
Barbara Hua,
Robert Griesbach,
Susan Pump,
Janet Arakawa,
Henry Holtschneider,
Maureen Dolan,
Ovid Benari,
Franklin Walker,
Robert O'Keefe,
Yumiko Gee,
Philip Mewson,
Nicholas Rastenis,
Melvin Nagy,
Quietly, peacefully, may they rest in you. Quietly, peacefully, bring them home to you.
We remember those who have died because of violence in our city and throughout the world.
We remember those who have died due to COVID-19 in our country and throughout the world.
We remember those who have died because of natural disaster or famine.
We remember those who have died without a home, those who die alone with no one to grieve their passing.
Quietly, peacefully, may they rest in you. Quietly, peacefully, bring them home to you.
Gracious Creator of the universe, you are attentive to the voices of our prayers. Help us to find comfort amidst our sadness, certainty amidst our doubt, and hope in the days ahead. Bring peace to our hearts this day and always. Amen.
Though we need to weep your loss, you dwell in that safe place in our hearts, where no storm or night or pain can reach you. We look towards each other no longer from the old distance of our names. Now you dwell inside the rhythm of breath, as close to us as we are to ourselves. Though we cannot see you with outward eyes, we know our soul's gaze is upon your face, smiling back at us from within everything to which we bring our best refinement. Let us not look for you only in memory, where we would grow lonely without you. You would want us to find you in presence, beside us when beauty brightens, when kindness glows, and music echoes eternal tones. When orchids brighten the earth, darkest winter has turned to spring. May this dark grief flower with hope in every heart that loves you. May you continue to inspire us, to enter each day with a generous heart, to serve the call of courage and love, until we see your beautiful face again, in that land where there is no more separation, where all tears will be wiped from our mind, and where we will never lose you again. Thank you for taking the time to join together with your T'Pol community for this gathering of remembrance. In being with us here, your actions speak clearly and compassionately to your colleagues and to all those in the DePaul family at large that we are a people, a community who cares. If you are someone who has lost a loved one this year, we hope that you have felt supported and heartened by your presence and participation, and that you know and remember that you are not alone. Please know that the Mission and Ministry staff will continue to keep you and your families and loved ones in our prayers in the coming weeks. Have a blessed Thanksgiving season.